In this WrestleTalk news, backstage trademark conflict in WWE, Alexa Bliss shoots on fans, Raw's writers legitimately don't know wrestling, and more. Likey that subscribe button for daily wrestling news.
Support WrestleTalk!
Keith Lee hasn't been seen on WWE TV since the go-home show for Elimination Chamber all the way back in February, where he was expected to win the United States Championship. Early on, Fightful reported Lee was sidelined for health reasons, so WWE didn't factor him into any more creative plans while he wasn't cleared to return to the ring. But then PW Insider reported last month he's been led to believe Lee's absence is more of a creative thing than an injury thing. Whether he just fell foul of Vince McMahon somehow, or there is something going on that they're keeping close to the vest. Presumably the same vest he was made to wear on his main roster debut, depriving us of his magnificent torso. Meanwhile, Lee has hinted towards some larger behind-the-scenes issue on his Twitter, posting on May the 11th that day will define his future, that could push the wheels forward or stop completely. That day might not have been as conclusive as he hoped, as on June the 4th he tweeted in his currently pinned post, "I wanted to do something educational but also inspiring to tell you guys about everything since late January. Seems that is off the table for now. So with that, I will find another way to tell guys about everything. It might simply be a video of me chatting with you. We'll see." He's also changed his Twitter handle to Optimistically. Didn't realize that was a pun until I said it out loud. Optimistically. But now we might have another piece of the puzzle thanks to a publicly filed trademark dispute. Hill by nature, who's really good at going through copyright and trademark filings in the wrestling industry, has given an update on Lee's application to trademark his name, Keith Lee, for wrestling purposes back in December. Earlier this week, a notice was sent to Lee's attorney saying they can't grant it at the moment because someone else has filed to trademark his name first. And that prior filing is most likely WWE, who filed to trademark Lee's name back in August 2019 when he originally signed with them. They actually abandoned that filing in December that year when Lee didn't provide written consent, but revived it last March ahead of his main roster call-up. Additionally, the trademark office has stated the materials Lee has submitted as proof he's been using the name since 2008 aren't sufficient. So the current trademark situation is, in the red corner, Keith Lee, who needs WWE to abandon and then cancel their current trademark filing. In the blue corner, WWE, who needs Keith Lee to provide written consent for the company to trademark his name. WWE has until September to get that consent, and if they don't, it'll be dropped and Lee can move ahead with his application. Keith Lee first signed with WWE on May 1st, 2018. While it's unknown what the contract length was, other deals from that time were usually 3 years long, which will put the renewal date to last month. There's plenty of factors that might change that though, with extensions due to injury or a renegotiation during his main roster call-up last August. There have been multiple examples in the past, like Rusev and Andrade, of WWE keeping a wrestler off TV while a new contract hasn't been signed. Or they just book him in the main event of WrestleMania. It's one of two extremes. What do you think is going on with Keith Lee right now? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to people for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live from out of nowhere, saying whatever's going on. I hope the big guy is alright, because he's a bloody talented professional wrestler and one of the kindest souls in this business. But that's not the only name dispute in WWE. Roll-up finishes, Angel Garza pushes, announcers tables causing DQs. Most things in WWE are just fads for Vince McMahon in the moment. Another thing he constantly changes his mind on is indie wrestling names. Sometimes they get to keep the monikers that made them famous, like CM Punk, Samoa Joe, and Keith Lee, for now, and others don't, like Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and Doudrop. Oh god, I hate that name. Taya Valkyrie has built her name up as one of the best women wrestlers in the world, winning titles in AAA and Impact Wrestling. On getting signed to WWE earlier this year, they gave her the new name Frankie Monet in NXT. Speaking to Wrestling Inc., Monet has revealed she fought really hard to keep her old name, but WWE insisted she adopt a new one, along with a new character to go with it. Ruby Riott, however, doesn't appear to be returning to her Heidi Lovelace name she wrestled under before joining WWE. Now she's been released, she's updated her Instagram to Ruby Soho, likely a reference to the Rancid song. I know about the musics. But why get new names and gimmicks when you can just take someone else's? Hopefully keeping Keith Lee company in the Phantom Zone, Bray Wyatt hasn't been seen on WWE TV since the Raw after WrestleMania. But don't worry, that doesn't mean you also have to lose one of the most creative and over gimmicks in recent years. You can just give the Fiend character to Alexa Bliss. The Lady Fiend even debuted her own terrible playground entrance music on this week's episode, presumably now completely separating herself from Wyatt's Fiend character. And she continues to beat people via a puppet called Lily and telekinesis. Many of our audience agree with me that it's easily the worst thing in WWE right now. And it's criticism Bliss herself has now addressed, tweeting, "They can say what they want, but I'm actually having fun," with a picture of her as a goth pretzel. What do you think of Bliss's Fiend character? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Or would you not mind if we had Bray Wyatt around still too? Let me know in the comments. John Cena was beaten so badly by the Fiend, he returned to reality as Communist John, a new superhero that can make entire countries vanish with his "you can't see them" powers. And he's now given his latest coming soon tease that he'll be returning to WWE. Talking on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Cena promoted his new blockbuster movie F9, and then confirmed the rumors are true. "I'll definitely be back to the WWE, I just don't know when." That when is expected to be the first show back in front of live fans, the July 16th episode of SmackDown, which also happens to be the go-home show for Money in the Bank. It has been reported that Cena was in talks to return then, with Cena vs Reigns the apparent headlining plan for August's SummerSlam.
Teach me how to take a wrestling move?
Sure. First lesson, take your shirt off. Okay, lesson number 1. Wrestling is real.
Yeah, it's real. That's very real.
And I just want you to know that Reese is fine.
Note to self, never annoy Bad Luck Fale. Elsewhere in wrestling, Sonya Deville has seemingly denied reports that she'll return to in-ring action soon, telling The Bump she doesn't see an end to her definitely not an authority figure role anytime soon. Ringside News had recently reported she was scheduled to return before WrestleMania, but those plans kept getting pushed back. The very reliable WrestleVotes have tweeted, "I've heard from a few sources an idea making the rounds. Big E moving from SmackDown to Raw in the post-SummerSlam draft while still being pushed as a singles. In essence, New Day back together without necessarily being a team. If so, he would become a fresh face for the Raw main event scene. I would love to see a New Day versus Hurt Business feud if Hurt Business hadn't already been broken up as soon as they started winning. Sometimes it feels like Raw is written by people who don't understand wrestling. Well, shut the fridge door, because that's exactly what's happening." Speaking on the Asian Not Asian podcast, stand-up comedian Kenise Mobley spoke about how she's recently been hired as a writer for Monday Night Raw, where she revealed, "They did not require me to know anything about wrestling, but I do have a background in film production and comedy writing, and they're like, perfect. Come on in." Yeah, but surely she knows something, right? She's being modest. No, doesn't even know the name of the WWE champion. I'm on the Monday Night Raw team, so there's Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, and the people I know that are on it are Bobby, his name is either Bobby Ashley or Bobby Lashley, and I really should know that. He's like this giant black guy, and he and the people who are part of his crew, I know that they call, or at least as of last year, they call themselves the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business. They wear suits, and they're like, "We're cool." Oh goddammit, we're all doomed. Braun Strowman, meanwhile, has found a great use of his 90-day non-compete clause, getting all the muscles, eating those muscles, so you can have muscles on your muscles. He shared a gallery of bodybuilder poses from his clean-ish bulk, saying he's reached 357 pounds with the excellent hashtag jacked, tan, and juicy AF. Braun Strowman back to WWE confirmed, because he's got no place in a vanilla midget company like AEW, who are most famed for making wrestling t-shirts and now also very expensive replica title belts. The company announced you can now buy AEW World Championship replicas for $700, which, at that price, better come with a lock of Hangman Page's hair. Then I can tape it to my own head. If you're still watching at this point, right at the end of the video, you are the best of the best of the best of the best WrestleTalk viewers, so I've got a huge favour to ask of all of you. If you use Google Chrome as your browser, it'd mean the world to us all here if you add WrestleTalk.com to your Google Discover feed. Once you have, send us a screenshot to @WrestleTalk_TV with the hashtag DiscoverWrestleTalk. You'll then be entered into a giveaway to win a video call with me and Luke. Here's how to do it. On your phone, you can customize those suggested articles you see anytime you open a new tab on Google Chrome or on the Google app. In Chrome, when you open a new tab, click the little gear icon next to Discover and go to Manage Interests. From there, you can find WrestleTalk as a suggested option and click the follow button, and voila! You'll be suggested the latest WrestleTalk.com articles. On the Google app, you need to go to your settings and your interests and do the same thing. Find WrestleTalk and hit the follow button. An easy way to get the latest wrestling news right to your phone. Please go to WrestleTalk.com right now and check out all the latest wrestling news.
I thought that this would be as good a time as any, considering the show that we're on. I saw some people in the comments saying so, but in case anybody was not aware, hey, I'm also bisexual.
Oh, Tempest,
Look at that.
I wasn't aware of that, and thank you so much for sharing that with us on the show.